All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Monday, August 11th, right here on your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns. And I am Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson. This is presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. And this is All In Horns. We had our first scrimmage of the fall camp for the Texas Longhorns, and all reports are saying how great the defense looked. And we've got a lot of notes that we want to go over and just our immediate reactions based on those reports. Obviously, we were not in attendance of that scrimmage. We don't have that access yet, but we are going to kind of give you what the reports look like coming from that scrimmage, and a little bit of injury updates, more so an update on the running back coming back, CJ Baxter, some promising looks from the running back in that scrimmage. And we'll talk about what Arch looked like and all the other things. Also, this isn't a full playbook. I mean, they're going over some things, but it's not like this was completely shut off to media. They still don't want to give all their secrets, all their hands away in this scrimmage. And so we'll kind of go through it all. But Jake, where's a starting point that you'd like to start off at with this scrimmage?
Yeah, well, first off, to kind of expand on the offense being vanilla, from what I read, there was not much motion, things like that. They kept things simple. It sounds like they were almost giving the defense a little bit of an advantage, and a defense that doesn't need an advantage. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt, even all these points we're going to talk about. Also, these aren't from people who necessarily watch the scrimmage. These are from people who got information from people that watch the scrimmage.
Right.
So it's a game of telephone. So
and it could be like, hey, Arch had an okay day. They might be telling media members that he had an okay day when in fact Arch looked like a Heisman caliber guy, and they don't want that information to go out for Ohio State to hear about it. They're just kind of like, yeah, they just looked all right. They didn't look all that great. You know, we still got things to work on. They might be giving coach speak to the reporters who are reporting on it.
Yeah, and to me, what you do is you take this information, you combine it with what you hear from camp as a whole, and you start to find themes. And then those themes typically carry into the regular season. And talking about Arch, well, first thing, best thing I read, no interceptions in Saturday scrimmage, which is great, especially against this defense. The defense did create turnovers against the other quarterbacks, but not against Arch. Arch, it sounds like Arch and Wingo had a great connection. Wingo had a few touchdown catches, but an issue that was said kind of about the quarterbacks as a whole, and this is Arch as well. And I could see this being, if you're going to have an issue with Arch early, I think this could be an issue, is kind of feeling the pressure a little too early, kind of similar to Quinn, but Arch having the mobility and then just running out of the pocket immediately, maybe a little quicker than he needs to versus stepping into the pocket. Now, Arch has the athletic ability where he's going to be able to get away with that sometimes. But that's still something that you're going to not want to do against an Ohio State, against Georgia, against your top competition.
Well, and against linebackers and linemen that can track you down and catch you. And so here it's kind of similar to when you get a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson earlier in their careers of tuck and run first, because that's what you're comfortable with. You know that you're more athletic than everybody else out there on the field. And so, yeah, you can use your legs earlier than probably you need to. And it almost becomes a crutch more so than going through your progressions, staying in the pocket, just extending the pocket with your legs, keeping your eyes downfield. But instead you're bailing out on the play too early because you know you have the athletic ability to make a play with your legs.
Yeah, a crutch is a perfect way to kind of talk about what that can turn into. And then that can be frustrating for the offensive line too, because guess what? When your quarterback goes out of the pocket, you can't. The only way at that point to hold on to your guy, if he's scrambling to the side that you are on, if you're a right guard, he's scrambling to the right, is to hold. And so that can lead to more holding penalties as well. But another last thing on the quarterbacks that I read was sounds like KJ Lacey continues to be very impressive. Had a very good touchdown pass to McCutcheon. It sounded like Khaleke Lockett got some run with the ones as well, by the way, just kind of jumping all over the place. But KJ Lacey continues to impress. I don't think he's going to be in the battle to win QB2. I just don't, not as a true freshman. But I do think he's going to be an issue for Trey Owens, when they're, competing for a starting spot once Arch is gone. And then you have Dia Bell in there as well. There's going to be a lot of competition in the future at this quarterback position, when you move on from Arch, because KJ Lacey would be probably the most mobile quarterback we've seen since, well, I guess Tyrod Hurd maybe when he played a few games, but
I would say Sam Ehlinger was pretty
starter,
mobile. It's hard to
since Ehlinger, but probably more of a speedy. I would say when it comes to the speediness, he'll be one of the speediest looking different type of scramblers we've seen at Texas in our lifetimes.
That Sam Ehlinger didn't even cross my mind. He's on the Denver Broncos now and had a preseason game on. I was like, oh, there's Ehlinger. He was doing his typical Ehlinger thing in the preseason. He seems like he's a preseason god. Every year he's like, I'm going to make a roster.
To be fair, he hasn't had much of a chance to do anything in a regular season.
Yeah. And I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole. But anyway, yeah, I just I forgot that he was on Denver this year. He went from a Colt to a Bronco, very similar to Peyton Manning's career. So let's talk about running backs, Jake. I know some reports stated that CJ Baxter looking healthier. He looks good. He's still wearing the knee brace, still kind of, probably going to be third, fourth on that depth chart come regular season to start off the year. I don't see a situation where he is 100% healthy and he's that low on the depth chart. He's going to creep his way back up. The healthier, the more comfortable, the stronger his knee gets. He'll get more and more playing time and a little bit more carries. But early on in the season, I still don't see it as being something that all reports are stating that the team is comfortable with him getting those types of carries, though that the workload earlier in the year. However, your boy Christian Clark continuing to impress at scrimmages and throughout fall camp.
Yeah, I mean, some of the reports that I was reading were saying he was the best running back out of it. Wisner was consistent. Wisner does look like he's improved since last year. It's not the same Wisner as last year. His body's a little bit different in a good way. He's added muscle, added speed, added a little bit more athleticism. The running backs didn't really break out any big runs in this game. Not surprising against the defense they're going against, but it sounds like Christian Clark. I think I started talking about it early, and I'm continuing to get more and more excited about the possibility of him being RB1.
I'll give you full credit, Jake. You were on the Christian Clark train not only last year after he got hurt, and you were like, man, I've heard some good things about this guy. All offseason. The guy, I was like, yeah, Jared Gibson, ready, excited to see CJ Baxter back out there. And you kept always bringing up, hey, dude, Christian Clark is a guy, just because he didn't play last year, he might be listed as RB4 on early depth chart projections. He might be pushing for RB2, if not RB1. You've been saying that, Jake, since February.
I wouldn't be surprised if I think the Texas-Ohio State game is going to come down to which offense can make a big, like last year, Ohio State getting that screen pass touchdown right before half kind of won them the game. That could be Christian Clark this year, who creates the explosive play out of nowhere that a lot of people nationally, even some people that keep up with Texas, aren't expecting.
Yeah.
But if you listen to this podcast, you'll be like, oh, there he is. And I hope that happens because, I love looking smart because I don't get those opportunities very often. But I think he is going to provide explosive plays early, which just one quick jump. I'm all over the place, but Quinn Ewers did play his first preseason game on Sunday.
Wasn't great.
Didn't play well, unfortunately, despite the fact that he's looked good in camp.
That could be the roster around him. That could be the play calling. We don't know.
Yeah, preseason's ugly in general. I mean,
but
he had this. Hey, just saying, he had the same amount of completions as Tua. Tua had 27 yards. Quinn had 91. So,
hey,
I'm just talking about numbers here.
I started keeping up with his stats. I didn't obviously get the game, but I did get the stats early on in the game, and it was like 1 of 6 for 21 yards. So the fact that
it ended 5 of 18. The completion percentage just not there for him. But first preseason game, we'll keep seeing how he does as it goes on.
I know he also had a fumble in there as well. I did see that. So, but all right, Jake, wide receivers. We're just kind of going down the list of what the reports look like. And reports are stating that Parker Livingstone might be above Emmett Mosley on the depth chart and could be that slot wide receiver 3 option for the offense. And I think my thing is too, from what I heard last year, I think Arch and Parker were both roommates a lot of the time on the road. And so I think that these two have really gotten to know each other well. And I think that's kind of that safety blanket for Arch, where Emmett Mosley coming in as a transfer obviously hasn't had the camaraderie with the starting quarterback yet, or at least not as much as Parker Livingstone. But I think those 2 second-team guys really started hitting it off, whether they be on the road or whatever. And Livingstone and Manning have really just been connecting throughout camp, and it looks like that connection might elevate Parker Livingstone to a starting spot on this offense.
Yeah, now Mosley didn't play in the scrimmage. That is worth noting. Sounds like probably precautionary. If you're dinged up, don't risk it in the offseason is this coaching staff's point of view. But Livingston as well, just he practiced with Arch all last year. And that matters. That's why Wingo and Arch have a pretty good connection as well. And so I think it's good that we're reading this. Because we know Mosley's good. Because we've seen he has college tape out there, and it's impressive on a not good team. Even when they played decent competition, he played very well. Livingston, to me, that tells me that he is really developed, and he's a guy who was making noise last year a little bit. It was just more of he's not quite refined enough. Sounds like he's refined enough now, and another guy that could make a big play.
I heard his name last year in reports, and so it was like, all right, when are we going to start seeing this guy? But whenever you heard about it's this 6'4", 6'5" guy who can run a 4.3 flat 40. It always tends to kind of make your ears perk up a little bit when you hear those measurements. Again, just the refined route running ability. It seems like he's kind of been getting that refined ability and then getting the play calling and the playbook under his belt as well. So, hey, if you made it this far into the episode, we're about 12 minutes in. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is not our only channel. We also have All In Cowboys. Go ahead. We'll put a link in the comment as well. Click that link, subscribe to that channel, and go ahead and give us a listen if you're Cowboy fans. Or if you're like most people, you hate the Cowboys and you want to hear 2 Cowboy fans bitch and moan about the Cowboys and cry after every loss, that's also a great channel to check out as well. So it's for all walks of life, whether you love the Cowboys, hate the Cowboys, we'll be there covering the Cowboys. All In Cowboys brought to you also by Rogue Sports Network. Give this channel a follow and a subscription, as well as All In Cowboys. All right, Jake, more on the scrimmage for the Texas Longhorns. Offensive line, a little bit of a mixed bag were some of the reports.
Yeah, which not surprising to read if you've kept up with camp to this point. It sounds like they got better as the scrimmage went on. From what I read, the first 2 or 3 possessions were the offense not moving. I mean, just not going anywhere. Just 3 and out type deals where they tried running, they weren't getting any yardage, they weren't getting anything in the air. Nothing was working early in the scrimmage. Sounds like they did kind of progress into it. I imagine the defense, when you're in a scrimmage, that speed kicks up a notch from just a typical practice. And so the speed, and you got a Colin Simmons out there. Colin Simmons, from what he would have had multiple sacks if they were tackling quarterbacks. Not surprising to see that. The edge group looked really good. The defensive tackles, the defensive line as a whole, edges and defensive tackles were what sounds like the standouts of the scrimmage, which means your offensive line didn't have a great day.
Yeah.
Some penalties.
It also means you have the top edge room in the country, which is also true.
And a hockey-like rotation at defensive tackle is what I keep hearing. Yeah. That exact statement is it's going to be a hockey-like rotation.
And speaking of that, Jake, I know you got a little bit something on Cole Bavard. He left practice a little early with an injury.
Did come back.
But he did. Okay, so he did come back, and
Cool.
so it wasn't anything super over the top serious. But on the offensive line, Nick Brooks.
Yeah, Travis Shaw also got banged up, but he came back. Nick Brooks got banged up, did not come back. And the report right now, kind of floating out there as of time of recording, is he didn't come back. It doesn't sound like anything season ending. Is going to miss some time. Now that could mean a week. That could mean week 1.
Yeah.
But you have to hope that he comes back because your tackle. I mean, last year's running back,
season, Jake. That is some time.
yeah, that is some time. I think if it was that, we'd already have heard it.
Yeah.
But concerning, the tackle depth is hit really hard. Feels a little bit like the running back room last year to a point at this point. And so the offensive line was already kind of the biggest concern going into the season, I think, for everyone. And now your depth is getting hit a little hard. That is scary for this, but that said, it hasn't been starters yet.
For those who don't remember, Andre Kojo out for the season, just for anybody who's just now tuning in and kind of getting Longhorn updates for the first time this offseason. Backup right tackle Andre Kojo was listed out for the season, I think, last week and a half ago. And so now Nick Brooks, incoming freshman, who was a highly touted recruit, also goes down with an injury. Don't know the severity of it, but could miss, quote unquote, sometime.
Yeah, and so, but it sounded like Baker had some penalty issues a little bit, few too many penalties in general. That's normal for an offensive line that's new together. You're early in fall camp. You got 20 some days until Ohio State, so you got time to fix that. But
you also have number 1 right across from you, so you're probably like, yeah, I'm going to hold you.
Yeah, I need to get a little jump on the snap. Do what Lane Johnson does in the NFL and just jump a whole second before it's snapped.
Yeah. Hoping that get called at this level.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's anything that made me more or less concerned about the offensive line. It's just more of this offensive line is going to have to improve for this team to reach their ceiling is kind of my takeaway from the offensive line right now. They're going to have to get better. I expect them to get better. I don't have extremely high expectations for week 1. I think that stretch before Florida is going to be where they really have to start to put it together and quick. Because I've said it multiple times and I stick by it. Week 1 is going to be a low scoring slog, and it's going to be up to the Texas defense to kind of carry them in that first week.
We talked a little bit defensive line, talked about the offensive line. Edge group probably looked the best out of any position group on the scrimmage. Defensive tackles also looking good. A little bit of injuries, but glad that Brevard and that Travis Shaw were both able to return to action, at least on the sideline in pads. Didn't have any braces or anything like that on. So linebacker group, Jake, you and I, we really like this linebacker group. I don't know if everybody around the country or even locally who cover or who followed the Texas Longhorns, maybe not to the extent that you and I do, but you and I, we like the depth of this linebacking group, and that goes beyond Leona Lafau. That goes beyond Anthony Hill and Trey Moore, even a Brad Spence. But guys like Ty Anthony Smith, guys like Bo Barnes, those types of players, we still like the depth of the linebacking group, and I think it's only getting better.
Yeah, I mean, when they moved Brad Spence full-time to edge, I think that told us everything we needed to know about the linebacking group, because if they had any concerns about the depth or the quality of the linebacker room, Brad Spence, a proven SEC commodity, by the way, had 4.5 sacks, like 50, 60 tackles last year at Arkansas. He would not have moved from linebacker to edge. Especially since the edge group is so loaded. That tells me they thought his highest potential was at edge, but they also knew this linebacking room is good. And that tells you Trey Moore's coming along really nicely at playing off-ball linebacker. But that tells you we know Anthony Hill, we know Leona Lafau, but to me that speaks a lot about Ty Anthony Smith, who started getting playing time last year. Towards the end of the year, played some snaps against A&M, played some snaps in the playoffs, and I think in the SEC championship game as well. But but it also tells you Bo Barnes is probably a little ahead of schedule as a true freshman.
And that's
And I know
exciting
he
to hear.
had some good plays in the scrimmage. Ty Anthony Smith had a really good scrimmage, also had an interception to Ty Anthony Smith.
I'm also not sure, Jake, that you can just go into the season and be like, yeah, we're going to redshirt one of these guys and hope it holds off. I think linebacker is a position where, whether it be on special teams, punt team, injuries, it's just a high contact position where I think you go heavy depth and you keep guys on the roster and you don't redshirt a guy like Bo Barnes. I think you keep him on the roster, and if you need him out there, you need him out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, even week 1, you're probably going to have Anthony Hill out there as much as possible, but it's the first game, and we don't know what the heat's going to be like, but it could be pretty hot. You're going to have Ty Anthony Smith play some snaps out there, and so, like you said, linebackers not. I mean, you don't even know Anthony Hill is one of the best linebackers in the country, especially early in the season when you're planning on playing 15, 16, 17, whatever amount of games it is to get to your destination that you're trying to get to. You can't play a guy at the linebacker position just an entire game. It's not the smart thing to do, at least. And we know that's not Sarkisian's philosophy really at any position. So I feel great about this front seven. I feel great about this secondary. I went from thinking maybe the defense would kind of drop from last year because we weren't sure about defensive tackle at the time. And it was like, is the run game defense going to be as good? To this defense might have, if they can get turnovers at a rate similar to or more than last year, I think they could be a better defense than last year. I don't know if that means statistically they'll look the same, just because I think the schedule's tougher and I think they're playing better offenses. But I think as far as level of play, they can be right there with last year, if not better.
Hey, we did miss an injury on the injury report. Amari Winston, the tight end, the freshman, did get injured and is expected to miss a couple of months. Now, again, lower on the depth chart, you have Jack injuries and you've got Shannon Spencer or Spencer Shannon, which
and Jordan Washington is probably your tight end too.
Is your tight end too. So you've got about 3 guys ahead of him. But still, you just don't want to see it. You don't want to see a freshman stop his development, learning the offense, being
the development thing is the key there, because he's been really impressive too. This tight end group, the coaching staff as a whole is really high on. And so that stinks just from a development standpoint, not necessarily on the field this year.
You don't think that he couldn't play a couple snaps against Sam Houston State? You're crazy. Like, he would have gotten out there and
especially with the red shirt rolls up to 4 games, he would have been playing in several of those games. Because it sounds like he's going to be out a couple months is what.
So we're looking. He's probably his availability middle of
He's
SEC
probably not touching the field this year.
We'll see a red shirt, an injury red shirt on Winston by the end of this year. So, all right, Jake. Hey, kickers, special teams. I guess that's the last thing we haven't really touched on.
Yeah, kind of updated since I put what I put on the doc, by the way. But Shipley did miss 1 kick on the day, but made several. It sounded like Will Stone had a not good day kicking field goals as well. So Shipley, I think we all expected it. I imagine he is for sure the starter. He had a better day, but did miss 1 kick that was fairly short. So hopefully, can get that cleaned up. He's adjusting to a new school and everything, so you got to give him a little time. But continue. I never heard this much buzz about a punter in my life. The boom meester, and hopefully I have to see him much, but I'll tell you what, I'm sure glad we have him going into week 1 when you're going on the road to Ohio State and you're going to punt some. So that, I think that is going to be probably the most improved position on the entire roster from last year. But that's a good thing, because the punting was a big issue last year. So excited to read that he continues to just impress everyone that watches him. He's consistent. Sounds like he has great hang time on it, which allows your punt coverage team to get down there. And the ball goes further, which guess what? Ball goes further on punt. Typically a good thing unless you're trying to coffin corner in it.
Well, that, and you give the defense a little bit more opportunities to make a stop or make a big play where they're not backed up on their own 40-yard line or the opponent's 40-yard line, and they've got 60 yards to go to score a touchdown. Now you're looking at more of like 70 to 80 yards to go to the end zone. And that gives the defense more opportunities to make plays and to make stops and win the field position battle, which Texas lost every game last year if they weren't just scoring on every drive. So that's going to do it for today's episode, Jake. I think that's just about everything we wanted to cover. So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for listening. Tomorrow's episode, really fun one. We've got Pete Sousa joining the show for a college football preview for tomorrow's episode. So please tune into that one. It's going to be a great episode. He's a really fun time to talk to. We've already recorded the episode, and so really, really good stuff from Pete Sousa. So join in on the episode for tomorrow. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns. Hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.